Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to the introduction of Alchemy for the Soul. This is a 12-month somatic journey into the Tree of Life, and if you're here, chances are you're feeling the call. It's a call to ascend, to awaken, to remember who you truly are. And you may be wondering just now, what exactly is this 12-month journey? And that's what we're going to unfold in the next 10-12 minutes. What is Alchemy for the Soul? So let's begin. It's a class on the science of ascension. Through this journey, you'll learn to master your creative energy and unlock your manifesting power. So this isn't about surface level manifestation techniques. It's about aligning with epigenetic intelligence, where your choices, emotions, and focus literally turn genes on and off. This is like the ultimate biohack. And by learning the inner science of the Tree of Life, you'll begin to understand how to upgrade your DNA expression and embody your higher self here and now. So what is Ascension Science? A visionary researcher, a hero of mine who I love, William Henry, explains that Ascension Science is the study of how we activate the light body and evolve towards higher states of being. It's both a spiritual path and a science, as well as a synthesis of ancient mystery school teachings that meet modern discoveries in quantum physics, biology, and sacred geometry. And it's not just about ascending to somewhere else. It's about bringing down the divine here in the body, into the cells, and into the choices that we make every single day. So let's just pause for a moment here. I want to take a second look at how those ancient traditions mirror modern science. And we're going to take the Big Bang, okay, the beginning of the universe, and Kabbalistic cosmology. So roughly 14 billion years ago, a great explosion, as we all know as the Big Bang, marked the origin of our known universe. But what if I told you that this wasn't just a modern theory? One of the earliest metaphysical creation stories that truly struck me was from Kabbalah. When I first read a Kabbalistic reinterpretation of Genesis, chapter 1, I was in college and I was reading the Course in Miracles. And to my amazement, these two teachings were essentially telling the same story, only that Kabbalah went further, diving into realms that science hasn't yet reached. The Kabbalists had mapped out the energetic process of creation for over 1,000 years ago, mirroring what science has only begun to understand in the past 50, 60 years. And even more astonishing, you can overlay the Big Bang timeline onto the famous glyph, the Tree of Life. And it reveals a mystical alignment between cosmic evolution and soul evolution, both originating from the same divine source, and structured through the same energetic laws. This is what led me to explore, what is the Tree of Life really mapping? Well, according to Kabbalah, the Tree of Life is the original blueprint of creation. It's a sacred geometry pattern that exists both in the cosmos and within your body. The tree is not flat or symbolic. It's a living, multi-dimensional scaffold of consciousness. And really, what does that mean? It means that it's an energetic, biomorphogenic field. Yes, like field in physics, when we think of like a magnetic field. And it's encoded in your nervous system, your very DNA. So from a metaphysical perspective, the Tree of Life ties directly into the caduceus, which is the staff of Hermes. And it symbolizes this double helix of DNA and the Kundalini energy rising through your spine. So each sphere, or sephira on the tree, contains specific divine energies, our archetypes, what we would call frequencies. And there are 10 known spheres, plus a hidden sphere that's represented by the throat chakra, Da'at. And then the source at the top of your body or the tree, Insof. So actually it makes 12 key aspects, and these correlate with the 12 spiritual and 12 physical aspects of your DNA, forming 24 divine codes that make up your soul's biological expression. So when trees are layered upon trees, a fractal pattern emerges, and it's known as Jacob's ladder. lending back to Jacob in the Bible, and he's climbing the stairway to heaven or the ladder to heaven, if anybody remembers the story. But given a right hand spin, the spiral emerges and it reveals the double helix of our DNA with a central pillar of pure light, that the tree of life is not two-dimensional. It's in its full multidimensionality, and it becomes a four-stranded helix with a central axis of source light running through the middle, surrounded by four elemental pillars. And it represents four directions, or four forces of creation, or in Kabbalah, we call it four watchtowers, and four alchemical elements that you know of as fire, earth, water, air. So if you look down from above, this 3D tree reveals a powerful symbol, 4 points surrounding a central fifth, just like you see in the Celtic cross, or the medicine wheel, or the Templar seal. Each quadrant acts like a coding platform for creation, which is built upon sacred geometry and a holographic principle where every part reflects the whole. And now science is just beginning to catch up. In 2013, Cambridge researchers confirmed the existence of quadruple helix DNA within human cells. And this so-called DNA quadruplex is linked to replication, the very process of cellular renewal. So if you rotate the 3D tree of life by 45 degrees, its top-down view mirrors the axial geometry of this quadruple DNA, and it becomes an octagon. This sacred octagon is also found in the Taoist I Ching, martial arts, Western mystery schools. So both Eastern and Western esoteric traditions describe creation as emerging from a binary yin and yang, or force and form, or light and dark. These two polarities form four elemental combinations, just as DNA is built from four base pairs. Then these groups turn into trinities, the trigrams of the I Ching, and the triplet codons of genetic material. There are 64 possible combinations, and the same 64 found in the hexagrams of the I Ching are the gene keys and the 64 codons of DNA. So even the geometric division of a square into an octagon and then into 16 and then 32 and finally 64 maps exactly to the structure of tree of life in the human genome. But geometry alone is not enough. To activate this sacred map, we must align our desire, our very intention and concentration, because where our attention goes, the energy flows. So metaphysical teachings say manifestation requires intense will, focused thought, and an appropriate object of intention. This isn't just poetic, it's scientific. So in epigenetics, it is now known that the layer above the genes are the on-off switches, what we know as on-off switches, is influenced by our intentions, your choices, actions, emotions, and the environment that you live in. So you can literally turn on or off the expression of genes by how you live, what you believe, what you feel, and what you focus on. So here's the kicker. Those changes don't just affect you. They can be passed on up to 7, even 14 generations. So all this being said, the Alchemy for the Soul journey, which is a 12-month somatic initiation, uses this wisdom to activate your latent DNA codes. And it's a course to unlock your intuitive genius, rewire your nervous system to hold more cosmic light. And it's a living process, not just a class. And through the map of the tree of life, you'll learn how energy becomes matter and how trauma, or your challenges in life, let's say, become the narrative on how all of this is structured. And you can reclaim the keys to your inner temple, rewrite the narrative that you want now that you can manifest in a conscious way. And you've joined what we know of as Ascension Science. And really, this journey begins kind of like as a group. We move into a retreat weekend and we explore your own creation story, like your own Big Bang, if you will. Alchemy for the Soul opens with this immersive weekend retreat devoted to exploring your birth story and the circumstances surrounding your conception, pregnancy, birth, and the environment you entered when you first arrived in this world. Because before we can understand how we create our reality today, We need to become curious about the conditions in which our nervous system first learned how to experience reality. So, what was happening around you? What was happening to your parents or caretakers? What happened before you arrived? What was happening within your mother's body and her nervous system? Was your arrival anticipated or was it complicated? Was it peaceful or rushed? Was it frightening, joyful, or do you not know? How did you enter the world? And what did your developing nervous system learn about safety, connection, separation, belonging, love, survival? This becomes your personal Genesis story. And through somatic exploration, reflection, and the study of what we know of prenatal and perinatal patterns, we begin bringing awareness to some of the deeply ingrained strategies that may still be influencing, and I guarantee you they are, the way you move through life today. So, how do you make patterns around relationships? What are your attachment styles? Do you have an wound? I can't say it. Or do you have a strong sense of control that you must be in control at all times? Does your nervous system run on overcharge? Do you get exhausted easily? How are you about receiving attention or nurture? Are you a doormat type of personality? Are you extremely aggressive? Like, what are some of these patterns that you have in your daily life? We approach this with creativity and manifestation. So the purpose isn't to blame anyone or our parents or reduce everything we experience as adults to our birth stories, but it's rather to become curious about the patterns that were established before we even had the ability to form words and speak. Because once something that has been operating outside of our awareness becomes visible, then we have greater choice and we can make change. This is where alchemy begins. We can begin recognizing strategies that once helped us adapt, but may no longer serve the person we are becoming or the person we are meant to be. We can meet old wounds with greater consciousness, develop new responses, and create more flexibility within our nervous system. There's another beautiful reason why we begin here, because we begin together in a group, and the opening retreat creates this container for the people who will be ascending the tree of life together over the coming year. And before we enter the mysteries and this great wonder, we encounter one another as human beings. And we don't have to have any knowledge because it's carried in our body. It's already there. All we have to do is access it and listen. And we can learn not only from our own stories, but by hearing other stories because we share so many similarities. And we recognize the universality of vulnerability, adaptation, resilience, and becoming. So you begin to know the people who will walk beside you. And from there, we enter our second weekend intensive, which is initiation. And what does that actually mean, initiation? Well, for thousands of years, human beings have participated in initiatory traditions as a way of marking a threshold between one state of being and another. Initiation says, I am ready to know myself. I am ready to see, and I am willing to encounter something beyond my current understanding. So within the Western mystery traditions, initiation represents a conscious approach to the threshold of the unknown. And it's symbolic of knocking upon the door of the divine and asking for greater knowledge, greater wisdom, greater guidance, and greater responsibility. It's about becoming capable of embodying what you receive. So during this second weekend, we explore the history, the symbolism, psychology, and the embodied experience of initiation. We examine why mystery traditions across cultures have crossed these thresholds through ritual, through entering sacred space, and through ceremony to mark profound transitions in the human consciousness. And we're here to ask a very personal question. What are you ready to be initiated into? Because only then are we ready to approach the tree. And your first weekend ask, like, where did I come from? How did I become who I am? While the second weekend becomes, who am I willing to become? And from there, together, we begin the ascent of the Tree of Life. So we welcome you. We have an information session coming up that we want people to be a part of, that's taking place on September 30th. And we do have these information sessions held throughout the year for upcoming cohorts, but our next cohort is beginning at the end of October, and we'll be continuing into the year of 2027. You can find more information on our website, thefloweroflifefoundation.com, under our teachings tab. And we look forward to meeting you and bringing more people into a greater awareness of how to work this body, this miracle that we have, which is really, truly a powerful tool.